welcome to Uptown Studios Live. I am so thrilled. Finally, Cassandra Jennings and I get to have a conversation. We've known each other for probably 20 years. We've sat in the same room for 20 years on all the committees and boards and all the things that we have done for our community. We have crossed paths thousands of times, but I've never really had a one-on-one conversation with you, Cassandra. Welcome.
Thank you, Tina. It's just good to see you, even in the midst of all of this.
And even in the right. It's not it's 2D, not 3D. You don't get to see the fluffy me, just the flat me. So you got into the Greater Sacramento Urban League. When did you take your job? When did you start?
Well, believe it or not, it's been almost 5 years. I started.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's just crazy. And I know that I've been talking with some of your team and sending over some reports on your website and seeing how we can help you. And I thought, you need to be on the show. You're doing so much different. I think when you started, it wasn't as easy of a job that you might have thought that it was. You've made some great changes, and you're positioning the Urban League in a great position for Sacramento community. Tell us, what was the Urban League like when you started, and tell me about your growth and your expansion on services.
Right. Well, running a nonprofit is never easy. And a nonprofit that's been around now 53 years is going to have ups and downs. And you never want to be stagnant. So just really applaud, first of all of those who have come before me in this position, and knowing now, because I have hands-on experience about how difficult it is. First, my hat goes off to them. And then when I came, we were sort of coming out of the downturn in the economy, and it hit a lot of nonprofits pretty hard, including the Urban League. So here was the opportunity when I came in to really sort of take it to its next level from where it was. And while we were doing great work in the community, we still needed a lot of expansion and growth in servicing. So what we moved quickly to diversify our funding, to expand our program and our reach to the community. And so our mission is really to help underserved communities and African Americans achieve economic self-reliance. And people say, well, what is that? Well, I look at it as if to take care of themselves, their families, and not only take care of yourselves, but then to help your dreams come true, whether it's taking a vacation, starting a business, saving money, or just taking care of yourself. And so it's more than just stability. And we found out we could do that through educating, empowering, and employing. And so we then developed a lot of programs around that partner with organizations, as well as really brought a new level of rigor and excellence to our community, so that when they got that job, or they went out to get more education, or they signed up to complete their high school diploma or get in a community college or university, they were prepared and could stay through it. So we were able to partner, get funding from a number of different sources to run our job center, to help people with entry-level jobs or middle wage jobs, and then to really work with the education realm from youth to way over my age, to help us to prepare for the future. And we were able to then partner with the Black Child Legacy Campaign and other things to really dig deep into our community and look at how we can lift people up that is long-lasting and sustainable.
Mm-hmm. So are you specifically doing work with the Black community, or is your target audience more about economic impact?
We serve all communities, and we serve communities that are underserved or that are facing certain obstacles. So when you look at a group, let's just say a minority group and a Black group, because of institutionalized racism, because of redlining and all the different things, they don't have access. And being African American ourselves, and then a urban league rising out of the civil rights movement, they are a group that we serve, and do that intentionally and unapologetic. Because if you look at as data, anything, let's just take education, anything that's good, African Americans are at the bottom, and anything that's bad, we're at the top. So why wouldn't you then target those who are the least among us? And
Oh, absolutely.
but not just them. We serve neighborhoods, underserved communities, lower income communities, anybody who is disadvantaged in this community and in the workplace. And so we reach far. We have an office in Del Paso Heights and one also in Oak Park. And we really serve a 6-county region, although we're pretty Sacramento centric right now.
Yeah.
But we're working on changing that a little bit, expanding it. So we serve all people. We're intentional about, because what we will see and what is common, those who are underserved or don't have access, they're the last ones at the table. So just because you're serving them doesn't mean you're filling the whole table or the whole classroom with those, but you're making sure that they are part of the class and part of the discussion so they can be part of the success story.
Right. So I recently heard that California, well, and I think the feds are working on it, defined racism as a public health issue, which, like, it absolutely is. It absolutely should be. And that should funnel more money into the service providers like the Greater Sacramento Urban League to provide services against that, fight racism, that we've got to eliminate it. We've got to, and it's like homelessness. How do you get at it? It's so complex and it's so deep. And are you having particular programs that are going at this from a public health issue?
Well, it's interesting that yes, and we need more.
Yeah.
I think the county of Sacramento did declare racism as a public health issue. I applaud them. I am just disappointed that this great state of California did not pass Proposition 16, which would have overturned Proposition 209, the anti-affirmative action. I think, first of all, we need to admit that there's a problem, and then we need to have specific things to address it. Now, for example, the Black Child Legacy Campaign was it's funded by the city and the county and Sierra Health Foundation. There's 7 partners, and we have a whole network. And it grew out of the fact that the data showed that African American children were 2, sometimes 3 and 4 times more likely to die than their counterparts in certain zip codes in the county of Sacramento. And so over the last 4 to 5 years, we've been working on addressing that. And they're looking at 4 causal areas: sleep-related death, perinatal care, child neglect and abuse, and third-party homicide. So for 2 years up to 2019, there were no youth homicides in those zip codes. And then what happened? The pandemic came, 2020 came, and it was a mess. Then it started to come off the charts. And so I think my point is, when you're intentional, when you recognize the problem, and then when you're intentional in addressing it, it's effective. And then you got to remember that other things are going to come to impact that, but you got to keep your eye on the prize and keep being flexible enough to address the issue. So I'm glad that the county, I'm glad that the state is looking at it, but it's not always easy, because in the state of California, they don't want you to talk about race. It's all solved, I guess. And so even in the schools, when you talk about suspensions of Black boys and girls, disproportionate than anybody else, they sort of have to then follow different kinds of rules when you talk about how to address it. Oh, we can't talk about it that way. But we need to talk about it that way, because that's how we correct the problem.
You have to say it. You have to say what it is, and you have to be transparent and open and receptive to new solutions. I know that the Black infant death has been a struggle that public health has been working on for 20, 25 years, and the numbers haven't changed at all.
Right.
There's like, it needs to have an influx of money so that we're really looking at the public health issues surrounding a Black infant death. It's one piece of that Black child legacy, but
Right.
it's so important. You got to get them. You got to get people educated. You got to have time. You got to have people that care about them. You have to have health care. You have to have housing. It's like the everything. Uh,
Yes.
and so are you tracking your effectiveness on in certain zip codes?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And actually, we have a report coming up to the county soon because we're up for more funding.
Oh, good.
But yes, we are. And just like I said about the homicide, we were tracking that also with the deaths, and the deaths have gone down. We had specific goals that we had to reduce it by 20% by 2020.
Wow.
And
That's
of
a big
course,
one.
we did. And when you mention education, it's so important to understand that education comes in many forms.
Yeah.
And I think through the Black Child Legacy, for example, what we found is that you need culture brokers and trusted influencers that you need and they need to educate others to educate others.
Tell
So
me a culture broker. I haven't heard that. Tell me about a culture broker.
well, we call them as people who can relate to certain cultures and connect and within the community. So they're the ones that people are going to listen to. So if you go to a community, let's say Oak Park, for example,
Yeah.
or Meadowview, they may listen to you, they may listen to me, but they may listen to the barbershop owner who talks the truth, who they go in to hear, or Big Mama who's been there forever, who raised her kids and everybody dropped by her house, or the pastor.
Sure.
And and
Sure.
they may listen to them before they listen to me, or they may listen to me because they know certain things. And so
Right.
if we can share the information and use those cultural brokers, those connectors in our community that know the nuances of the community, that can relate, then we reach deeper than just passing out literature. Even if
So I'm with you. I didn't know that I used culture brokers, but I've been using them for 30 years. And it is knowing that, I mean, I did HIV/AIDS work in the 90s, and we worked with barbershops and beauty salons.
Mhm.
And we trained the barbers and the beauty shop owners to train the people that were coming into the beauty shops to talk about HIV and AIDS.
Mhm.
And it was very effective because they were the trusted leaders. They were the trusted voice of the community. It is like, I was telling Scott Syvex, I said, well, I want to hire some Black employees but I can't advertise that. So Scott, who do you know? And then he gave me some names, and I said, well, now if you need some gay employees, you can talk to me.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes. You have to have a lot of different cultures in your life.
Mhm.
And how do you do that? How do you make friends with other cultures that you want to have in your life? Well, you have to be a friend. You have to reach out and you have to say, I admire you. Cassandra, can you come on my show? And you came on my show because you know enough about me to know that I'm not going to throw you under any buses. I'm going to ask you good questions and we're going to have some fun.
Right. Right.
Right? So
And I'm going to learn from you, Tina. So
and we learn from each other, right? So it was like Cassandra and I were talking before the show. It's like I had a friend that was late to a meeting and she was Black, and I said, "Hey, what's up with being late?" She goes, "Oh, it's CP time." And I said, "What's CP time?" And she said, "Oh, that's colored people time." And I said, "Oh, it's like lesbian time." So we all have so much that's in common, so much more that's in common than and we don't know it until we get to know each other.
Right, right. And whatever we're trying to do in the community, we can't do it alone.
We can't.
And I
Yeah.
think we all have, all the time, we sort of try to break down the issues, target populations. I mean, for example, we were working with a program with workforce development. We worked well with La Familia and with Asian Resources, and then there was the Urban League. And we all had our targeted groups, but if you looked at our classes, they were all still diverse. Of course, La Familia might have reached the Spanish speaking community a little better than I did, but we
Yeah.
need some too, you know. And so then we're all in it together. And then sometimes we separate because we have certain programs we're doing. And then we're learning from each other and we're growing our community. And
Right.
that's what it's really
Yeah.
about, is bringing our sort of intentionality along with others and partnering to really show positive results.
Well, and one of the keys that we know from all of the work that we do is bringing the right people to the table and asking the questions, and then bringing big ears so that you're really listening. So it's creating empathy with any target audience. We worked on the census. Um, we worked with you on the census on the side. We worked with our toolkit and all of our ads. You did such a great job. You were such a great partner. Um, and one of the focus groups that we had was with the seniors, and our assumption was they wanted to be counted for their grandchildren so their grandchildren would have a better life. And we had this focus group, and they came in and they went, no, it's not for our grandkids. We want to know that we're going to have a safe retirement. So it is, it's like asking the right questions and learning about the target audience so that you can create a campaign that they're going to pay attention to.
Right, right. And let me, because you asked the question earlier about, do you just do African American, and is that an issue? When you brought up the census, I was also reminded of how COVID hit, and it probably it probably helped bring us together even more because we had all those subgroups and we were working hard, and but here's what it ended up, because we couldn't get to our targeted group as easily. Then what we came up was do the caravans. And so, we all don't live in one community. You could have two houses that look like you, two houses that
Yeah,
look like me,
right.
one house that looks like both of us,
Yeah.
and on and on. And what it then, just so naturally, then we all came out with our cars and we decorated because we thought we could just reach them all, and just driving through different neighborhoods,
Tooting the horns.
dropping off door hangers. And so there was La Familia, there was the Hmong community, there was the Urban League, the NAACP. Everybody was joining in to really get the count up or bring awareness. And so
Yeah.
that's a case where even though you're targeting a group, everybody benefits
Everybody.
if they don't have the access, because we're all around each other.
Yeah. And the thing that was so clever about that, we have a mantra at Uptown Studios. It has to be three things to have a successful campaign: easy, fun, and popular. It has to be easy to do, it has to look like fun, and it's going to make you more popular. And that caravans were all of that wrapped up in a red ribbon. It was just a really fun way to get that outreach out there and create a hustle and a lot of commotion, and people come out of their houses, and it was just great. It was just great.
Yeah.
So tell me about a couple other programs that I don't know about, and many others don't. I think that we have a perception of the Greater Sacramento Urban League that I want to break it down so that you can tell us that it's for more people and more programs.
I know we talked a little bit about our workforce development and our job center, but let me tell you about some great programs that we have with employers to really, in this environment, serve the community. And it's our digital upskilling, reskilling program, as well as our advanced manufacturing program. And what we have done in the midst of COVID is partner with employers, with the Greater Sacramento Economic Council, all the big wheels, all the CEOs of these major corporations in Sacramento area, as well as SMUD with the California Mobility Center. And what we've done is done tremendous outreach to the community to bring them into training. Now, some people lost their jobs. They were always working. Some people were still trying to get ready for jobs. But we were able to do this program with workforce development that when some people first got in, I know all of that, but you don't. all of those skills and soft skills about how to navigate through systems and organizations we taught, and how to really look at yourself and be your best that you can be, striving with these great careers. And then you got into the skills training part, whether it's digital, the IT world, or either the advanced manufacturing, which is more, doing, you could do anything from welding to working into a corporation of transportation and mobility. And what we found is people grabbed onto all of it. And what a time to do that. A lot of it was virtual right now. Most of it was.
Yeah.
It worked. It was engaging. It was enlightening. In the midst of COVID, it gave people hope. And then while they're a little slow because we're stay at home or now out of work, is that they could retrain themselves and regenerate things in themselves. And then after that, they got internships and jobs, because the goal is to refresh, reskill, upskill, and then get prepared, get some more training, and then get into employment, and or if you want to start your business. And what we're doing now is taking that model from CARES and then taking it on after CARES, because we think that there's a good link and a better link between training, getting people ready for economic self-reliance, if they can see a direct path that has many different outlets to.
So these are not just digital jobs. You're training them in like building trades, and of course they can't. Do they have to pass an exam before they go into an internship and actually are pounding nails or learning wiring or solar, or what is that process like?
And it depends on the job. Some you don't have to pass any tests. Some you have to pass tests, but they're really entry level tests. Tests. Most of these jobs you don't have to have a college degree, and so we need to demystify that every good job you have to have a 4-year degree. 4-year degrees are great and post, but not everybody needs it.
Right.
So this really allows people to get on a path, and we help them prepare for the test if there needs to be one. And then depending on the IT, they'll have to complete the test at the end. But, you have support systems to that. We provide support. We keep in touch with you. We address barriers you may have. We had somebody that had a baby in the middle of one of our programs, and now she's gainfully employed. This is all during COVID. I can't make that up, right?
Oh, man, you can't.
And then we have others that had struggles, and we provide assistance. Some that may have needed a computer or help with their rent. We're able to sort of take away those barriers that stop us from really achieving success in career and in the workplace.
So in your tagline, educate, empower, employ, it is really, you're looking at the whole person. Is that correct? So if I don't have a phone, you're gonna talk to me about how to get a phone. If I don't have a way to get to my interview, you're going to help me figure out a way to get to the interview. If I don't have food for my kids, you're going to get me dialed in and connected with some food outlets. If I have a senior living with me, so you're looking at the whole person.
Absolutely, with an emphasis on achieving economic self-reliance.
Okay.
So it's on a pathway. So we're going to look at you, but we're still saying, you need to get back in school, or you need to take up a trade, or what kinds of jobs work for you? And then what are the barriers? We do housing counseling. We want to encourage people to buy their own home. And it may not be today, but we like to change the narrative. It's like you too can own a home. Doesn't matter whether you're on public assistance, just getting out of prison, just graduated from college, or do you have gray hair like me?
Or like me. Do you do financial literacy? Do you help people?
We do.
And how are you doing that? Is that's in here in your mix? Or the whole person?
it's in a couple of ways. We do it through our housing counseling because most of that is about budget management, credit reports, and all of that. So
Sure.
that's financial literacy part. We also have some youth programs for out of school youth and in school youth where we make sure that's a part of it. We encourage people to get checking accounts or savings accounts, start a relationship with the financial institution.
Uh-huh.
And then in our digital literacy class, we don't do as much financial literacy, but we do sort of give them some skills that they can start to do things online and be able to then connect with different things online because it's
Mhm.
surprising even young people they may use their phone more than they use a computer.
Oh yeah, yeah. If they don't have a phone, they're like out of it.
Right,
Phone
right.
is, we had a group that we interviewed where the young man did his master's thesis on his phone because
Mhm.
he didn't have a computer.
Yeah.
So he did all of his typing like this, right?
And
So
that's
yeah, right. And that's the normal. That's normal for them. So on, we do work with California Student Aid Commission,
mhm.
FAFSA. Do you help people apply for their community college grants and 4-year college grants? You know that it's up to 12,000 a year now for community college, and
Yeah.
18,000 for a Sac State per year.
It's
It's like it's a wage
right.
to go to school almost.
And access is so important, and that's an interesting question because I'm on a lot of task force and boards. I'm working with the African American Advisory Board for community colleges statewide. And we were just on the call with them just yesterday about a program that they're trying to implement because the community is saying they need to have access, and financial aid is one of the big ones. Access to the financial aid,
Oh yeah,
understanding
yeah,
of it, then taking advantage of it.
yeah.
And so next week, I think, no, February, first week in February, I'm going to a train the trainer, and I'm taking at least 6 people with me. And if you want to go with me, let me know to train the trainer of how to help with financial aid in our communities. And so it's one to get the information to them, is two to really help them complete the information, and the
Oh,
third
that's the hard
is to
part
have
because
access.
most of the audience that you're relating with, they don't have adults in the family that are able to help them.
Hmm.
And they have to know their financial information, and people don't want to release that. There's a whole lot of issues that come up with the lower socioeconomic groups to get them to do the application, finish the application. So I'm going to introduce you to Marlena Garcia. She's
Okay.
the head of CSAC, and she's awesome. And she's really looking to CBOs like you to do that outreach so that these people can get this money. It
Right.
is free money to go to school, and today, like 90% of the classes are online, so you can just earn money working from your home. And then
Hmm.
what I know is that if you don't have a computer, you can talk to Cassandra, and she'll help you find that computer with her connections to all the corporations.
Yeah, and we do have what I call the DARC Center, the Digital Assistance Resource Center, which we have taken a space and made it totally COVID compliant with
Ah,
computers and printers for people to be able to come and get technical assistance as well as work from there if they need to. They can bring their computer, or we will
ah,
have a state of the art
okay.
computer because people learn and process differently.
Yes.
You may need to come to a space.
And have somebody walk them through something. I totally get that.
Right.
Because it's a hard thing. We have about 1 minute left. Anything else that you want to say about the Urban League in 1 minute? We're so lucky as a community to have you there. That's what I can say.
Well, I can say, and thank you so much for this opportunity. The Urban League is a resource. As we try to be good stewards of it, it is really for the community. So we can't encourage people enough to call us, to go on our website, to check out our social media, and really rely on us to help connect you. And we're going to take it from a lens of economic self reliance. But as this conversation shows, it covers the whole gamut of life to people being successful. So we educate, empower, and employ. We are the community's urban league, and it is our pleasure to serve them.
Well, and you serve us well. I want everybody to go to gsul.org and check them out, because if you don't need the help, you probably know somebody that you can refer to them. They're here helping. If you're a corporation, it's like this is a place that you want to fund, because they're creating change every single day. And I appreciate everything that you do. Thank you so much for spending a half hour with us. I look forward to working with you in the future. If you ever need help, you've got my connection. You know that I'll help you.
And you know I will use it. Thank you so much.
That is so good. All right,
all
everybody. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.